Hey everyone, it's Will, GamerDad, with another video for you. So first off, I'd like to give a shout out to one of my YouTube members, Isaiah. Thanks for your support! Now in tonight's episode of Should You Summon, we're going to cover the various banners that are unlocked for our newest unit, ES Claude, which of course is tied to the newest chapter of the Apocrypha. Make sure you do download the newest update 2.14.100, which is available in the App Store or the Play Store. And my understanding from some of the people in my live stream, I did do a complete walkthrough of the chapter. You do have to finish the Apocrypha, the main part, in order to get all his quests done and unlock his 5-star moves. Now that being said, we'll go directly into the 3x max Fateful. You know what's up by now. Claude is actually paired with himself. So you have a uprated of the 4.5 normal style Claude, 5-star normal style Claude, as well as the ES version. Note that the AS version Magnarex is only 0.01, which you don't want anyways, technically. And of course, Fatefuls all have the newest units up to date. Orlea, Alma, you know, some of the AS Lelies, Ultra Xian, AS Sora, etc, etc, etc. And of course, unfortunately, bots, Rainbow Sisters, and Knights. Although if you do the quest, we have swept up some of the trash, so hopefully you get less of that. Now, don't forget that they also have the regular version, which, by the way, is not even too bad for free stones, or if you really want to use paid stones, which I don't recommend. It's a full rate up for one character, so remember that if you do pull a 5-star normal style or a 4.5 normal style, you can farm 5 codexes and 5 chants and side grade Claude to his ES Calcale form. Otherwise, it's 0.8% uprated, and remember that because this is full rate up, you can actually summon singles. You still get 2% chance of getting any form of Claude, although you lose out on your kind of uprated 10th pull for 4.5 or 5-star. And being that this is a free banner, I don't believe the two newest units are there, which is Aristocrat, AS Sora, as well as, who else is there? AS Yukino. Now that being said, like I mentioned this morning, he is a new slash zone unit. He actually has a preemptive slash zone setting. So if you don't have a slash zone Grasta, you can now use a unit and cast a 1-turn AF in slash zone. He can also awaken zone, which is like most of the newest units out there. But what sets him apart from that, other than the fact that he can also VC in a slash zone, is that he can give a buff, which he only has one of, cannot be recharged. It can grant one ally the empathy buff instead of a normal attack, heals for 100% HP and MP. Also, that unit and Claude both add up their HP totals, and they both get more, as well as their MP totals. So for again as an example, if he has 3000 HP and 400 MP, and the enemy or the target of the empathy also has that, then you get essentially doubled. If it's not, then you get the sum of both. So HP plus HP, MP plus MP. Very interesting mechanic to boost things like damage based on HP, damage based on MP, which is mental focus, and so on and so forth. I believe the newest unit in the main story, spoiler alert, Minelka also plays off damage done to your team, in which case it's based off your HP. You'll be able to utilize this as well if you really wanted to. Now, he's an Earth slash unit, and of course there's a lot of Earth slash out there, and there's a lot of slash zones out there. So what sets him apart? First of all, like I said, he can awaken zone, he can inflict break, he can restore statuses and heal, so he's got some support. In any zone, it actually can stack power speed int up to 25%, actually up to 75% on the 5-star move. So it can heal, it can restore statuses, and increase power into speed all in one move, which is amazing, right? You can get a stack of 75% power in speed. Not as great as Alumage, but keep in mind that this is available in any zone other than Flash Strike. That move also awakens zone. Not only that, his other move increases type attack of all party members 50% and increases crit rate guarantee to 100%, and it also applies the chain hit boost, which is very similar to ES Suzette. Up to 5 hits, you get more multiplier damage up to the, and the 4th and 5th hit, I believe, benefit the most. Now, the other thing he can do is also give all slash damage up 50% and crit damage up 100%. And because he has something called empathy, he has a move that can change the zone that he can deploy. So, for example, if he puts empathy on a Pierce unit, then when he uses his preemptive zone setting move, which is a move, then it'll become Pierce Zone. Likewise, if you put it in a staff unit, it becomes a staff magic zone, or if you put it on a blunt unit, it becomes blunt zone. So you have one unit that can do all the zones, which is amazing, especially if you are limited in your roster and only really have, or free characters, for example, or started the game and don't have all access to all the weapon type zones out there. Blunt zone, there aren't that many. Pierce Zone, there's quite a few, and there's some free ones. Slash Zone, there's tons, and Magic Zone, we do have, you can get that from grinding out some units, but there are a few out there as well. And so in that case, the fact that he has that ability to basically adapt to any zone, plus the fact that he can do a lot of different support with his damage up, crit damage up, which by the way has no cap for crit damage, right? Can boost power speed up to 75%, heal, restore status, and type damage up, plus crit guaranteed 100%. Very awesome unit for anywhere from early game, mid game, early end game. Now, I would argue that in the late end game where I am at with a complete roster or near complete roster, I have enough zone setting units. And so I would argue that with his buffs, he is still very, very powerful. But note that there is a cost of competing capital. That is, your stones can either be used on this banner or it can be used in the future. And if you watch Japan's, kind of upcoming content and you've been following on that, you'll know that there's new units released with the main story part 3. Some of those units are extremely powerful and worth chasing down. And for those, again, spoiler alert, who don't have Flam or Flamelopus AS is coming out as well. And so there is other units such as Nakoko AS coming out as well. So really depending on how many of those future units you're missing in any form will determine whether or not you really want to summon on this. Like, I'm not saying he's bad by any stretch of the imagination. And remember that if you do hit him, this is the highest rate up for any form of Claude. So if Husbando is the way to go, definitely worth summoning for. However, if you were wondering, is he the unit that I want to spend all my stones on instead of, say, Manelka, or AS Nakoko, or Flam AS, and there's another banner called Weapon Resonance Series available tonight too, can't say he would be must-have. I mean, just from his early look at his kit, support is great, but really, you have Slash Zone you have free Slash Zone units. You got Crest, you have, there's Slash Zone Grasta, for example. Man, I'm drawing a blank here. There's lots of Slash Zone units out there, and I really don't think that you absolutely need him for a Slash Zone. But he is very powerful nonetheless. So I would advise against it unless you really, really want to add to him, or you have plenty of stones and don't mind spending a few thousand here and there. Okay, as for myself, I have 2 forms of Claude, so I'll be farming the codexes. And let's be honest, in 3 to 6 months, I'll be able to get them, hopefully, and, side grade it that way. Now, the more interesting banner here is there is a Fateful version, you can see here, and there is a regular version. So we'll cover the Fateful one first. This is 2 times max. There are 6 featured units. On the 10th pull is a guaranteed 5-star for Fatefuls, and pulls 1 to 9 you can pull anybody, all 5 stars or 4.5 in the game, plus Rainbow Sisters, Knights, and bots. Note that the 6 units that are featured only have an up rate of 10%, so it's not guaranteed. That means 40% of the time you can actually miss all 6 featured units. And the featured units are, hey, Flam. We also have AS Radius, AS Mystere, AS Milsha, AS Odaha, as well as Daisy. So just quickly covering it, you've seen Flam in action. Flamelopus is just extremely cheap, scam unit, 3,000 mod with Neptune can do on the first turn. You have 0 MP farming if needed. She can give herself and the team, I guess, mental focus and so on and so forth. Very, very powerful unit. Nothing else to say about her. Awesome on a Magic team. ES Radius is our newest, well, one of the newer tanks out there. I mean, you do have her, you have Radius. ES Sora also fits the niche as well. But the good thing about ES Radius, guaranteed 3 turns tanking, and you won't die. So if you bring her to any fight that lasts less than 3 turns, you pretty much won the game. ES Mystere, decent singer, has some end of turn debuffs, capabilities, damage, attack. Very, very nice. And let's be honest, people like the way she looks as well. Not a bad unit by any stretch, especially if you have no singer. I know Aisha is a free singer, but not comparable to the gacha units out there in terms of singing ability. ES Milsha has this Moonlight stance or the Moonlight zone where you can really abuse it if you kind of modify your HP max and some other things. Grants unlimited lunatic or gives people extra lunatic abilities, which enhances damage at the cost of defense for the most part. Not too much to say about her except that I think she's more for advanced strats. Don't think she's used in everyday's battles or anything like that. If you watch most YouTube videos, very few feature ES Milsha, and so in that case, even though she's really good and has her own niche uses, I don't think she's a must-have by any stretch. Normal style is not bad. Daisy, again, very niche unit. Delayed attacks, can VC in for damage, has some pretty unique abilities, has some specialized buffs that depend on the enemy acting first, dual debuff, pretty unique unit, but again, definitely not a must-have, being that Earth Blunt is pretty powerful already, and the fact that delayed units tend to take damage first, and you need to be able to mitigate that with, guess what, ES Radius or other tanks like that. And finally, ES Odaha can lock in a 3-move kind of combo, each move more powerful than the last. Downside is she's locked in for 3 turns, so she has less flexibility when attacking as opposed to needing to do something else another turn. Very similar to the normal style His Mina, but you get a lot of damage out of it if you can use her to the max. So back to the free version, instead of having it guaranteed 10% for the 10th pulls, on the 10th pull you get a 0.6% chance. So if you do hit a 5-star on the 10th pull, it will only be one of the 6 units is my understanding. See, on the 10th ally counter, other characters will not appear as 5-star class. Let me double check this one and see if that's the case too. No, that's not the case. So, if you do happen to hit a 5-star on the 10th pull exactly, and I guess they calculate the odds on that, you will get one of the 6 units that we mentioned. And obviously, pulls 1 to 9, you can get the other units as well. Just quickly covering this banner in general. My overall thought of this is, if you are missing Flam plus 2 of the other units in any form, this is not a bad banner for you. That's the reason why I say that is that Flam's rate up is 0.6 here. Obviously, the 4.5 is like very low. Each of the other units, I mean, if you like them, is also 0.6. So 3 times 0.6 is 1.8, which is essentially a full rate up banner if you like the unit. Now, if you don't like, for example, ES Milsha, ES Mystere, ES Radius, or you have forms of that, and you're only aiming for Flam, not really the best banner. And so that's why I say Flam will probably be the prize out of the 6 of them. You can argue the value of the other 5, but realistically, I think she's the main prize at this point. One other thing to keep in mind is ES Flamelopus is mentioned in the future for Japan release. We don't know if she's going to be a full rate up, aka ES Yukino, where you have a full 2% of a version of Flam, or if it's going to be a split banner, kind of like the ES Yifa, where it gets released with a manifest and you get not as useful units such as ES Ohido paired up or something like that. So if you want to chance a Flam and you really want to Flam and you're missing 2 others or more, oh, give it a shot, bearing in mind that other powerful units are coming along the way. If you can gamble and wait for a couple of months, then you can kind of see how ES Flam's banner comes out and see if that's worth it for you. Keep in mind that we are still a couple of months behind Japan, and so these banners now last 2 months, I believe. Actually, no, this one only lasts a month. If it only lasts a month, you can wait until the end, see if Japan announces the banner for AS Flam, and then determine which course of action is best in terms of odds. So hopefully that gives you some idea as whether or not to go for it. I won't be summoning on this one because I have actually all 6 units here. So, you know, there's that as well. That being said, let me know in the comments below what you think of my idea in terms of the banners, whether or not you are summoning. I know some of you have already hit the king, ES Claude. Otherwise, you know, you can hoard your stones, which a lot of you have let me know as well, for future banners. Anyways, again, if you want to catch my live stream, I did have it uploaded already. For Chapter 3, I will do the true ending over the next day or two, and I'm sure there's a super boss out there, which I'll try to have time for on the weekend. Honestly, it's a work week, and we have lots of things to do. Anyways, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.